Hi, and welcome to today's marketing session. So I would love to know from you before we officially get started and we dive into this valuable training session today. Do you rather be perfect with your business or a human with your business? So drop the word perfect or human down below, and then I'm going to explain why I'm asking you that. Here's the thing. To have a successful business, being perfect is far from necessary. What is necessary is being human. And that is how brands build themselves in a successful way so that they make real, true connections with their perfect audience and loyal customers for a long time, not a one-shot deal, not a let me throw a promo out there and hope that I make sales. It's long term. So if you're serious about your business, if you're serious about your brand, you need to think more as you, because guess what? You are your brand. And I hear often from my own friends that own businesses, from myself when I first started in business a little over 11 years ago, we put all this time and effort into our business and trying to make sales and, trying to make an income with it. And many times we feel stuck because we're working really hard, long hours, and we're not getting the results that we would expect to receive, right? The reason why is because many times we skip through the foundations of building a true business. And it starts with building your brand. So what I'm going to share with you today are 7 steps that you can take to either refresh your brand, or if you're starting brand new, now you don't have to make the mistakes of skipping through these, because you'll know that once you have these foundations in place, you will build a brand that's going to connect with your perfect audience and is just going to bring you more business. It's not going to be short term. It's going to be long term, because people are going to trust, know, and like you. And that is so important when it comes to representing yourself as your business, as your product, as your service. So if you are, maybe a realtor, or if you're a coach or an author or in direct sales, a virtual assistant, any title like that, this is for you. All right. So are you new to the page, by the way? If you are, say hello. Don't be shy. And by the way, if you're watching this on the replay, please drop any comments down below, suggestions, questions, because I will come back and answer everybody. And I appreciate that you're taking the time to watch this live or on the replay. If you are new to the page, welcome. I'm so glad that you have found me. My name is Ginna, and I'm the owner and founder of Hype Media. We are a boutique social media marketing agency, and we support small businesses and female entrepreneurs through done-for-you services with social media marketing and management and lead generation and chat marketing, all that fun stuff. But even better, together with my other business as the creator of Style Rebel Mama, an image consultant to female entrepreneurs, we are now working with Style Rebel Mama and Hype Media together to collectively support female entrepreneurs in your personal style as well as your personal brand style, and merging those 2 concepts together to really build a brand that shows up, that stays in action, that gains visibility, and that reaches the perfect audience so that you can make a bigger impact and bring in more business. So I'm so happy that you're here. If there's something that you hear that you really find powerful or that resonates with you, just give me a hashtag hype. And that lets me know that something that I said really, meant value to you. I love to hear from you guys. And so please don't be shy. All right. So let's get started. So here's what I have found for me personally, and I will admit, I'll be the very first one to admit that when I started both of my businesses, I completely skipped over the whole brand part of my business. I, like many people, thought that a brand was a logo and the colors. And guess what? It's it's the last thing that you should worry about, even a website. Okay. So what I want to talk to you about today are the beginning steps to either refreshing your brand, or if you're thinking of a business that you want to get started, these are the 7 steps that you definitely should take before you actually launch. Okay. So let's get over to the first one. And why this is so important is because many times I find that, and I did this in the beginning too, that I was stuck. And some of my clients, before we start working together, they feel stuck. They're very challenged and struggling, that they're putting all this time and effort into their business, but they're not getting the results that they should receive based off of the energy that they're putting in, right? And that is so frustrating, and it can be so disheartening. And the main reason is because we're not clear with our brand. We don't have a strategic plan to move forward as the expert in our space. And so when you're representing yourself as your business or your product or your service, this can be super frustrating, but it can be fixed. And it's not very hard, okay? It just takes a little bit of time, and it takes really digging deep into us as human beings. So when I asked you earlier, do you rather be perfect or do you rather be human in your business? This is why. Because to have a successful brand, you need to show up as a human, not as a perfect business. It won't work that way, at least not long term. All right? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to reconnect with what's important to you, okay? And some ways to do this are to ask yourself various questions, all right? So question number 1, and I'd love to, if you want to drop these in the comments as I'm saying these, please feel free, and I'd love to give you some feedback on these too. So how do you feel right now about your business, or even your career if you work for another company and you're representing their service or product? What are the biggest frustrations or challenges that you have right now that you feel you need to overcome in order to gain the right visibility, to gain customers in your business? What's holding you back from getting you to where you want to be? Is it time? Is it resources? Is it money? Is it staffing? Is it knowledge? Is it support? And what do you value most when it comes to business, to career, to relationships? It could be personal life. And what are you doing to honor those values currently, or at least like within the last 12 months? What have you been doing? What would success look like for you in 12 months? If everything that you did went perfectly, what would that success look like for you? I'd love to know. What habits are you currently doing that are serving you, and maybe are even not serving you from achieving the success that you feel that you should be receiving? Okay? All right. So those are some questions to ask yourself. Jot them down, make notes of them, answer them honestly, truthfully. You don't have to drop them in the comments if you don't want, but at least put them in a place where you can go back, you can analyze them, and then take some action. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to think about building your brand equity. Okay, you want to build on it. So think about what things make you amazing. So you want to unpack your genius. And here is how you think about this. And sometimes this can be this can really be a struggle. This was very challenging for me because, especially if you're not somebody that typically thinks about being, unique or putting yourself in this genius spotlight, what I want you to accept is that everybody is made uniquely. We all have our own set of skills that make us special. And that is why we resonate with some people and with others we don't. And that is totally cool, and that's totally okay. But knowing your zone of genius is really important when you're building your brand. So what are some skills that you feel set you apart from others? Okay, like, is it communication? Is it networking? Is it how are you innovative? And then how do others value your services? How do your clients value your services? How does even your friends and family value your services? Do you have evidence of this? Do you have testimonials? And if you do, you want to add them to your profiles, by the way. And are you using these skills to elevate your personal brand so that you can help others? And if the answer is no, then it is time, because this is part of your brand, okay? All right. So how about, what are some of the opportunities that maybe you might be missing? So I want you to think of opportunities with your brand that you may be missing that you can really take advantage of, okay? And I'm going to give you some ideas. So first of all, what's your purpose? Is your purpose to network with your brand? Is your purpose to educate? Is your purpose to for charity? Is it, is it to help others, which would go along with charity? But what is your purpose for your brand? And then what do you offer? How do you offer that? Is it through coaching? Is it through mentoring? Is it through guest speaking, through keynote? Number 3 is, who's your target market? Okay. And don't just say, well, it's everybody. Everybody's my market. No, everybody can't possibly be your market. You can't successfully sell to everybody or service everybody, right? So really niche down, and you can have 1, 2, or 3 different target markets. It doesn't just have to be one. So think about their age, think about their hobbies, think about, are they female or male, or are they both? Think about, do they have children? Maybe even their income status. What kinds of products they may like to buy, what kinds of books they may like to read, what kinds of movies they may be into, even, nutrition and fitness, things like that. And then what action plan do you feel that you need to make this happen? And what's your timeline for it, okay? Then I want you to think of networking opportunities that you might have. Think about outside of your friends and family. Do you know people within your space or within, networking groups that you can partner with to create some conversation, to collaborate with, and to work with? Now, let's move into refreshing your visual brand and professional image. So this for me is such a fun one, because this goes together with my image consulting hat, which I absolutely love, especially when working with women just like myself. Us as human beings, we are very visual, and we connect with people visually with looking at them, with their body language, with their voice, with their face, with their facial expressions. So it's really important to zone in on that image that you want to put out there, okay? And I think I touched a little bit about this in last week's marketing session, but there's some things that you can do to either refresh your visual brand or to level it up if you feel that it's not where it needs to be. So you want to think about, what do you want to be known for professionally, okay? So if you tend to wear sweatpants a lot, do you want to be known for sweatpants? I don't think so, right? If you want to be known as somebody that's organized, would you be wearing sweatpants and crazy hair all the time? I don't think so. Now, if that is part of your brand identity, then you stick to it, and because that's part of your brand identity. But it also needs to fit with your brand identity. So I think you probably get what I'm saying. What qualities do you want people to associate you with? Okay, so think about that when you're putting yourself together as well. What are 3 keywords that you feel people would describe you when they hear your name? And when people research you, do you feel that they're getting a visual identity of how you're trying to align yourself with your brand? And if the answer is no, then I'm telling you it's time to do a brand refresh of your visual personal brand style, okay? All right. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to really reflect, and this is so important. And and not just reflect, but I want you to actually use these when you are telling your story, when you are writing captions, writing content, and you're coming you're coming off as a human being, not as a perfectionist. I want you to think about your successes and your failures. And as you write these down, this is a great way to start creating content for your brand. So think about what's happening right now to you. It could be personal and you tie it into your business somehow, or it could just be about your business. What is something that you've learned about a certain experience that was a success or a failure? And then how can you use that lesson and apply it to your business? And you can apply it to your business in your social media content. You can apply it to your business when you are consulting, when you're, storytelling, when you're talking to a client. Maybe you're on a consultation call, a strategy call with somebody, and you want to relate to them in a way. These are great stories to use and to tell in, so that they can relate with you. And it's also part of your brand because it's part of you as a human being. Okay, the next thing you want to do is set some goals. So set like a 6-month plan or a 3-month plan, or just a 1-month plan. You don't have to send these like high expectations that feel like they're going to take forever to attain, because you know what happens with those? They don't get attained most of the time, at least not for me. I have to take baby steps and then I feel like I have accomplished something. That's how my mind works. So, you know yourself better than anybody else. So be kind to yourself and be generous. And just know that, if I set a goal for a week from now that I did, this or that, that's okay. I set a goal and I accomplished it. And then the last thing I want you to do is create or optimize your current platforms, social media marketing platforms, in a way that are aligning with you as a human, not with your product or your business or your service. So all of these notes, all of these questions that you answered that I just mentioned before this part, this starts to build like a storyline about you as a human being for your brand. And then you want to use all of these pieces, you want to use them and put them together in a way that start to tell a story about who you are as a human and what that means for your brand, okay? And so use all of this information, all of this, maybe journaling, if that's how you do it, use all of this insight into optimizing your social media profiles, included in your bios on your website. It's also a great way to start with any email sequences that you may be doing. Maybe you have a lead magnet and then you want to introduce yourself after you deliver that lead magnet. Maybe you're running Facebook ads. So a lot of what you write down about yourself is going to give you a really good idea as to making those Facebook ads really more connect with people one-on-one. So they touch them on an emotional level, where instead of, feeling like they're being sold when they see an ad pop up. Also, you want to craft your image. So if you feel you need a personal style reboot, then change your images as well to reflect that. And then you can start using colors that reflect who you are, your personality, and align with your brand. Maybe you want to update your logo, maybe you want to update your fonts, and start to incorporate all of those into your brand and maybe a reboot of your brand, okay? I will see you guys next week. We'll be live on Thursday, just as usual as well. Have a fabulous rest of the week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.